Kyle.
Let me put some headphones on. See if
Yeah.
this works.
Yeah.
Plugging in. Don't you love doing this?
Dude, we should have just tried to have gotten through that with the glitch.
Oh, that could have been fun.
It would have been like some Morse code stuff, you know?
That could have been very interesting.
So Kyle, how are you feeling today? Have you had a good
thumbs down?
Have you had a good week?
That could have been very entertaining.
Honestly, it's good for me. Sometimes the things that I say are actually not meant to be heard, so it might be better off that way.
Well, I mean, the thing is, you were coming through loud and clear. It was it was me that was the issue, apparently. So.
That sounds dangerous.
All right, doesn't it?
How you doing, man?
Doing all right, man. How about yourself? What's new in the 407?
Well, I got to tell you, I'm actually wearing a sweater today because
hey, look at you.
And I look like I'm sweating because I just got out of the shower, but
Nice.
it's just a little shower. No real sweat here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you don't. I mean, I work hard, but you hardly work. So. You know.
I'll take it. I will take that insult and just put it in my pocket. But there are no pockets in this sweater because it's a full on sweater. This is not a hoodie. This is not a fleece. This is not a leather jacket. This is not a blazer. This is a sweater.
Look at you. You're going full on sweater. Emily got a hold of you and was like, bro, come on.
I got smacked a little bit. I got Will Smithed, and it was they said you put a sweater on this time, and I got one on.
I like it. Yeah, I got a nice apparently I've been told it's a very bright blue sweatshirt, and it is made by a company called Desante, or I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's a company.
Desante.
Yeah, funnily enough though, it's a company out of Japan. So.
Oh, well, now I know nothing. Now I literally understand nothing in life.
The crazy thing is, it's like I mean, like I had never heard of this clothing company until like I don't know 2 years ago. And apparently, the only reason I heard of it was because we get like this big box of, just random clothing from like our USA Triathlon sponsors.
Yeah.
And they had a bunch of like they had this big ass puffy jacket in there. Mm-hmm. And someone was like, Descent, never heard of it. And so they go and look it up. Jacket retails for like $1,400.
What?
Like, what the heck?
And they just sent it to you?
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that they do. It's just weird. So, but they make really really comfy stuff. I'm not a big puffy jacket person, but I do love their sweatshirts are insanely comfortable. So I'm definitely known to. I've got like 3 or 4 of these Descent sweatshirts that they've sent me over the years because Lord knows I'm not paying a few $100 for a sweatshirt.
Well, Kyle, you actually bring up an interesting point. What really goes on into a price tag of anything? I mean, it's all marketing. I mean, what makes a jacket $1,300? It's like also like, an artist who says like my painting is $50,000. Like it's all about like, name your price to go buy it really. Like, I mean, a whiskey from Japan could be $1,000 and you're like, this tastes like Jack Daniels.
Yeah, no, and that's the funny thing. But I mean, but then you bring up a good point, like the range of prices from Jack Daniels alone, and some of the prices and the quality, like a Jack Daniels black label is going to be a whole lot different than a Jack Daniels green label. But anywho,
no, for sure. But what's so interesting is I really think it comes down to like if somebody wants like a whiskey Coke. Their brain says, "I want a Jack and Coke," because like that's like the that's like the standard drink, like which I think they actually call that a Lemmy now after Lemmy Kilmister of Motorhead. Because yeah. So I think there's
I just always hear anytime I'm on a plane, I hear people just say Jack and Coke, please.
But it's like it's a different taste. Then you can't get you can't get a Jim Beam and Coke. Like that's not going to do the same thing, or like a Maker's Mark and Coke. Like if somebody wants. Yeah, they're looking for that Jack and Coke. Like
Yeah.
for me, I like
Either that or a rum and Coke. So like that was what I grew up on. So
dude, I'm a Tito's and soda guy. I like club soda and vodka. That is my standard. And yeah, it's very boring, but you stay hydrated. You stay hydrated while you're drinking. So
I like the I like the theory.
Dude, I appreciate that you like the theory. I think I originally started it. It was like, okay, I can have some drinks and still hit my weight loss goals. So like, I think that's like why it started, because you can have a few of those, and you're not getting the sugar intake of like the rum and Cokes and the Jack and Cokes. And you're also not getting the hangover, which is really nice.
Oh,
and,
for sure.
And I learned that from my mom. She is, as I would like to say, an expert when it comes to vodka sodas. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's the positive.
Your mom seems a little bit more sophisticated than Tito's, though. I'm envisioning your mom as like a Belvedere vodka lady.
Kyle, my dog's name is Tito.
Oh, that's actually pretty good.
So, make no mistake, we stick to Tito's. We're not above a good Tito's.
Nothing wrong with a good Tito's, man. Nothing wrong. I love it, and I'm not shitting on Tito's, man. I actually love Tito's. if I'm gonna drink any vodka, vodka's not my.
A lot of people can't handle the vodka. They think it tastes like rubbing alcohol, or it's.
Yeah, Well, I mean, to each his own. So,
well, yeah.
but yeah, no, it's funny that you bring up like the hydration and all that kind of deal when it comes to the alcohol. So like one of my favorite funny stories / serious stories from when I wrestled at UCF was we had this really old crusty assistant coach. His name's Johnny Rouse. Real crusty old bastard.
Hey, I'm Johnny. I'm real crusty.
Oh, dude, I love that. Love that man. Just so many epic stories. I mean, the dude like suffered from diabetes and like had to have like all his toes amputated, and like showed up at practice the next day with like his feet all bandaged up, and he's like,
that's literally my hero. You're talking about my hero.
He's freaking awesome. But
okay.
he's telling us this story. Like we're all sitting around like after practice one day or something, and he's like, back in the day, like 5, 6, 7, 10 years ago, when we won our first national championship, we had this guy Tom, and or we had this guy Paul, and he told Tom that, Tom, I'm so serious about winning the national championship this year that I've decided to give up alcohol for the season. And Tom goes, yeah, Paul, I'm one-upping you there. I'm giving up all carbonated beverages. And lo and behold, we find out from Tom a whole lot later. He's like, yeah, just because I gave up carbonated beverages didn't mean there were a lot of alcohols that were non-carbonated.
Yeah, I'm learning Johnny Depp likes whiskey in the morning, so.
But no, it was So those epic college wrestling parties were definitely a thing, even on a national championship winning team. So
did they ever get you to do a keg stand? That's the real question.
There were definitely a few parties that had some keg stands. I actually don't think I ever participated in one of those particular parties. I don't know. Keg stands weren't really my thing. I did some beer bongs, but never was never really a keg stand guy. I was just a little too much and aggressive for me.
No, I understand, man, and I wish that I could say the same for myself, but I would say around 10th, 11th, and senior year of high school, I would say that like I was the designated like, hey, let's use Jared as kind of like the party favor. Like he's kind of like going to be, we'll just throw 20 shots down his throat. We'll throw him on top of the keg stand for 100 seconds. I was used. I was used and abused, man. And 100%. And I think I made myself accessible for that kind of mistreatment. I think, it was definitely like one of those, you definitely feel like the life of the party when there's like 80 people around you chanting your name when you're doing a keg stand, and you're like, oh, they love me. And, and I
definitely that surface. The stuff we do for popularity sometimes.
Yeah, that's really what I'm getting at, because it was like, I can hang with the rest, and they want me to keep coming back. But no, I can honestly say it's kind of like also like it's kind of like the vodka soda in a way. You do 2 keg stands, and if each of those lasts like 100 seconds, there's no way you can keep that beer down without throwing up. So it's like in a way, it's like a diet drink having keg stand. Doing keg stands.
I'm gonna take a hard pass on the keg stand, man.
Well, dude, I'm 31 now. These are back in my day, like Krusty Johnny. Like I haven't done a keg stand. I haven't done a beer bong. I haven't done anything that's like outrageous partying. Like I sip on drinks now. It's like
dude, same.
But the thing is, man, I'm no stranger to admitting that the initial buzz from like a first drink is real. I'm not like a denier. Like I'm not like, oh, it takes me a lot to feel it. Like I will get a buzz from.
No. Well, especially once you don't drink for a while, and then you sip on that first one, man. It hits you hard and fast, man.
Yeah,
but no. I think we're both at the point in life where we're like, let's find the thing that we enjoy, and sip on it and savor it.
Dude, do people around the training center now coming up to you being like, hey, that's Blind Sweater Kyle?
Not quite yet, but we're on the way, man. We're on the warpath. So
do you have a sauna there?
I do. We do actually have a sauna here. We have a sauna. We have a steam room.
I was thinking some good promotion for the show would just be putting like a poster of you and I like just outside the sauna.
Oh, we could do that. We need to get a poster. We need to get a poster made. We need some t-shirts.
We need merch.
We need merch, man. We will pay you to take this merch off our hands. Promote us.
Oh man, have you had some great training days this week?
Man, I've had a couple of good training days, a couple of really rough ones. So, like this past Tuesday, I ran a 2-mile all-out time trial on the track, and that went pretty well. I ran like 11 minutes and 35 seconds, which was one of my better 2-mile time trials on the track that I've ever done, especially here at elevation. And then on Thursday, I threw down a 20-minute bike power test and had a solid power to weight ratio. So can't complain too much about that. But then yesterday had a pretty rough day in the pool. We had a set of 2 times through. It was 5 by 200 meters on 300 or on 3 minutes and 30 seconds. So basically every 3 minutes and 30 seconds you have to take off. So if you come in, you swim your 200 in 3 minutes, or you swim your 300 in, your 200 in 3 minutes, or your 200 in like 3 minutes and 28 seconds. You have to take off on the 330. And like, if there's anyone out there that has a swimming background, they're probably laughing at me. They're like, you can't make a 330 interval. But for those of us that didn't grow up with a set of gills. It's really hard. I've been having some trouble with a shoulder impingement as well. So that made for a little bit of a rough day yesterday. So I had to get stretched out on a torture rack, also known as a sports medicine treatment table, and get my shoulder work done yesterday. So that was a lot of fun.
I like torture rack. That sounds really good. Like that's a good way to describe it. You ever see the Disney movie, like the Disney Channel original movie, The 13th Year, where that swimmer actually is like a merman?
No, I haven't.
Oh man. Well, he would understand having gills.
Yeah, for sure. No, the only movie that was like swimming related that I really actually kind of enjoyed.
Swim Fan?
No. It was The Guardian. So I don't know if you ever saw that one. It's
No.
Ashton Kutcher actually stars in it. And it's about the Coast Guard rescue swimmers.
Yeah.
And Ashton Kutcher is like this hotshot young recruit that comes in and think he's just gonna be like the most badass dude on the planet, and the old crusty guy who has like a gazillion rescue swimmer saves under his belt, and he wind up they become kind of swim buddies and swim partners, and they learn a lot from each other. So it was actually a very cheesy, very good movie. But that was the only swimming related movie that I was like, oh, this looks kind of good.
He's been in some great movies. Dude, Where's My Car? Fantastic movie.
Yeah. Actually, I gotta admit, I don't watch tons of movies. But yeah, no. Occasionally, I'll indulge. So my girlfriend and I, one of the things that Jess and I did, especially when the pandemic first hit and we actually could not get to each other across the border, was we would dial up every Friday and do a movie night together over FaceTime. So we would dive into like Disney Plus and some stuff. So it was kind of fun. So
okay, so for me, it's like if I'm watching a movie with somebody who can't sit there and like describe all the visual scenes, I kind of just tune out. Yeah. So if you're watching it and you've told me that your girlfriend also can't see, so if you guys are doing that dial-up movie night together, is it a lot of just hanging out together, talking time? And because it's hard to pay attention.
A little bit, but we also one of the things that we did was we would try to find a movie that one of us had seen in the past, so we kind of knew what was going on, and like the other one hadn't seen, so we could kind of tell the other what was going on. But then actually, so Apple and Disney have actually done a really good job of getting some more audio described movies.
Really?
So I was able to find some audio described movies, both on, and there's actually a feature on Disney Plus in your settings that you can turn on audio description now. So you can, for a large, at least for a set of the movies, it still can be hit or miss. But there's a lot more audio described movies and shows and stuff on Disney Plus now and on Apple. So yeah, we watched like there's a movie called Ferdinand. It was about a bull that we watched on Apple. Awesome freaking movie, dude.
Really?
I am not above watching a good old kids cartoon movie, man. I am so nostalgic.
What's your favorite cartoon? Like, what's your favorite animation? Not anime.
Not really an anime guy.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. It's hard to go wrong with any of those late '80s, early '90s Disney movies. So
yeah, like the Lion King to me is an unbeatable one.
Yeah, Lion King is way up there. Hercules is up there.
I love Hercules, and I think often people will be like, Aladdin's as good as the Lion King, and I know for a fact those people have not compared them recently. Like they just they're going off of their childhood. They have not seen them side by side in the last 5 years. But if you rewatch The Lion King and Aladdin, it's very obvious which one's better.
Hands down, it's Lion King, man.
Well, that's why you know.
Yeah, man. But yeah, that's the kind of stuff that Jess and I, we love to watch. We love to watch stuff from our childhood as well. So yeah,
it's amazing how I gravitate always towards movies that I've even seen like when I was like 5 or 6 or 7. Like it's like, oh, this is familiar, because like I can like watch it and
exactly.
It's like it brings back this memory and it's a relatability thing. It's a lot of things.
Yep. But it's actually part of the reason why I love the, like I could never really get as into the new Star Wars that came out in the last like 5 or 6 years. Like I'm just like, yeah, I'm an original 6 all the way, man.
Like if I ever have kids, like they're gonna be like, "Why is my dad making me watch Boy Meets World again?" Like, I'm like, you don't understand. I know every character and how they look. That's why.
Okay, man. I gotta admit, one of the things that I like when Jess and I first got Disney Plus during the pandemic, I did binge watch all like 7 seasons of Boy Meets World.
Dude. It's the best, right?
It was, oh my God, dude. I was busting a gut
Kyle,
the whole time. It was awesome.
Is there like any funnier character than Eric in anything?
He's pretty good, man.
Yeah, he's so funny.
Pretty good. He's pretty good.
And I can like literally tell you who like I think like are the hot girls from that show, because like my mind just goes back to like how I was as a kid, and I was like, oh man, I thought Angela was beautiful. I thought Topanga was cute in a few of the seasons. I thought Rachel was hot. Like I used to, and then like Corey had some of the girlfriends, like side girlfriends. I was like, oh, she was cute too. Like man, that show is. I could rewatch that. I can rewatch South Park at any moment. And for some reason, dude, this is a weird one, but Breaking Bad, which came out like in the last 10 years, so I've never seen it. But the thing is, I've seen it so many times with different people to show them the series that I actually feel like in my like mind's eye, I've made up this whole like idea of the show. Like I can literally be watching it like right now and be like, oh, Hank's wife Marie wears a lot of purple. And it's like, how the heck would I know that? But besides, I've just seen it with so many people who have said that. So in my mind's eye, I'm just visualizing constantly.
Yeah, I do the same thing with the Big Bang Theory. So
really?
that was my show of choice over the last 15 years or so. Yeah. So yeah, no, I wanted to get into Breaking Bad, but man, I watched I think I watched it like for the first season, the first couple of seasons, and just kept getting distracted, and now I'm like I really don't have time or the mental energy to invest in 5 seasons of that kind of intensity.
Yeah, it's definitely an intense thing.
Whereas like if I can just I can turn on a quick episode of Big Bang and be like,
fall asleep.
28 minutes, 27, actually really 21, 22 minutes, without commercials of, just laughing my butt off, fall asleep.
Yeah.
So
it's good to have those like wind down shows, or like a wind down podcast, or like
for sure.
or a YouTube show that you watch, like Blind Sweaters. It's just good to have those shows.
Exactly. That's we're just giving the people what they want.
We are good for falling asleep to. That's what we're here for.
100%. I mean, there's a reason why our episodes run like an hour and 22 or an hour and 26 minutes long, because David up there is just falling asleep on us. And, forgets to pipe into your headset. Jared, try to
unplug us, David. Unplug us. End the show now. No, we just need to do like a 10-hour.
He's gonna start getting bored and like throwing up like ridiculous graphics over our faces and like make us look like those weird characters from South Park where like their heads move up and down from like the upper jaw instead of the lower jaw, or so, like I don't know. He's gonna come up with something ridiculous.
We just need to start doing like 10-hour long ASMRs where we're just like keeping people asleep and just comfortable in our sweaters.
There you go.
How's everybody doing out there? So, dude, what body part do you look forward to making the sorest on you?
Oh, dude, I don't know if I can choose. I mean, I'm not touching that.
Dude, I'm asking because yesterday I did about like 360 yards of walking lunges, and my glutes are so sore today, dude.
Yeah.
And it's like, sitting down is a challenge.
Oh, I hear you, man. Man, I gotta say, I don't know if I thoroughly enjoy working out any specific muscle group over any else.
No, but sometimes you'll just be shocked. Like, how did I do this yesterday?
Oh yeah, no. I mean, for me, a lot of like my hamstrings or my glutes or my lats are a big one. That like Wednesday we had a circuit day that was supposed to be fairly light, so that we didn't destroy ourselves for our bike test on Thursday. And like Thursday and Friday, my lats were just shot from like banded lat pull, like straight arm banded lat pull downs.
Because even though you were going light, it was the volume that made you sore, right?
Yeah.
Dude, I know. It's ridiculous. It's like, okay, cool. Like, I am a volume guy, 100%. Like, I'm not the guy who claims to be the strongest in the room, but I've got the best mind-muscle connection you can find East Coast of the Mississippi. I'm telling you. And that's my claim to fame. And it is, if I go like just controlled, I can make myself sore with no weight at all. Like, doesn't matter. I can act like I'm doing a barbell back squat, but with like literally, it's just a visualization thing, and I will be sore based off of that. I can only imagine. I've never put that to the test, but I'm gonna tell you, it would make me sore.
Maybe we should put that to the test. And,
I was showing David the other day. I was like, I know, like, you want to squat heavy, you want to bench heavy, but I go, this is all it would take me to be as sore as I am today. And I was just doing like the motion of benching, but like full and controlled and like acting like I was like just getting a full pump. And I was like, this is all it would take. And he's like, yeah, if you did like 8,000 of those.
I mean, it just depends.
But yeah, walking today is. I also kicked my bed really hard last night with my shin, not intentionally, and
that happens to all of us. I don't know what you're talking about at all.
Some more than others, right?
Yeah. Like, I'll just careen off of walls without notice. That's gonna leave a mark.
Yeah, it sucks having these broad shoulders when we got such narrow walkways.
Exactly, man. Like the reason the ADA's door codes are like 48 inches wide is not because of because we got to fit wheelchairs there. It's because I got to fit these broad ass shoulders through them.
Yeah,
I have no idea what the ADA codes are.
Honestly, though, you sold me.
I think it is something like 40 inches or 42 inches or something like that for like new buildings.
Hold on, I got a tape measure right here. Let me check. Yeah. We won't clear it.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
But yeah, man, I kicked my bed hard. It was one of those, I literally let out an ow. Like it was like ow. Like it was like that kind of a thing. And I fell to the floor and literally could not put weight on it and there was it was definitely a contusion because it felt like there was like a knot in my bone, but it wasn't there was. And then I just started thinking about like going to Thailand and training kickboxing and kicking like bamboo and like really like just like callousing my shins. And I'm like, these guys are nuts.
Oh yeah, dude. So I had so back in high school, I trained with a guy who did a variety of martial arts, and he was like a 2-time national champion in Japanese karate when he was younger.
Desante?
Something like that. And he was like, yeah, man, like he was like, when I was at the height of my my karate career, I could bend an aluminum baseball bat into a perfect 90-degree angle with 3 kicks.
What?
And I was like, okay, you're just insane.
Yeah,
and he was like, oh, dude, it's really not that hard. Like, it just took like 10 years of like sitting and rubbing a glass bottle up and down my shins for 2 hours at a time
Dude, that
to get rid of the feeling in my shins. I was like, okay, you're insane.
No, that really is insane. It's like it's literally training your body like to be a different thing. Because like imagine being like a street fight with that dude. Like you go to kick him and he's just like, not today, buddy.
Oh yeah, dude. Oh dude, you got to man, if are you an MMA fan at all?
Kyle. It's like a religion to me. Like literally, I'm a UFC nut. But all mixed martial arts. I watch like Bellator. I watch PFL. I watch it all, dude. It's nuts.
Okay, so I don't follow it. I don't follow it, religiously or anything like that. I appreciate it. I wrestled. I dabbled in jiu-jitsu a little bit back in the day. But a great book that you got to read is about the history. It's actually the focus is on Pat Miletich.
Okay.
But and like kind of how he rose to prominence, and then like how like all of his athletes kind of spun off, and like you had the Miletich fighters, and then you had the Hughes fighters and all that. But man, some of the stories in that book, I think it was called Blood in the Cage is the book. And it basically talks about the history of UFC and MMA and all that. Is really, really good. And just some of the early street fights, some of the early like street fights that those guys got into was just insane. Like, I think there was one I remember Pat Miletich, he had already been like he had already kind of, I think he had won like four of his titles or something like that at that point. And he goes up to chat with one of the original UFC stars, and I think his name was Tank. And Miletich is like 165, 170 pounds, and Tank is just a beast of a man, because like Tank was he was in the early days of UFC, where they didn't separate into weight classes.
Okay.
So they didn't start doing that until like, I don't know, UFC like 20 or 25 or something like that. And so Tank is like this 300-pound behemoth of a man, and like he just starts like mouthing off to Miletich, and I think Miletich just punishes this dude. It was like Miletich just like rips out it. Like he had a couple of false teeth in the front of his mouth. He just rips them out. It just wails on this 300-pound dude, and then like it created like this big old brawl, and like, oh my gosh, dude, some of the insanity that went on in those early days of UFC was just crazy. But yeah, Blood in the Cage, you gotta check out.
I'll definitely check that out. That's awesome. Did you did you love training jiu-jitsu?
It was fun. Like I mainly dabbled in jiu-jitsu purely to improve my wrestling. Yeah. So I would do it like, once a week. I would go to a gym and roll around on the mats, and just work on body control and body awareness, because that more than anything was the point of jiu-jitsu. Yeah. And then taking a few moves from jiu-jitsu regarding in terms of using like pressure points and weight distribution and very minor joint manipulation, and then trying to bring that over and translate that to the wrestling mat. It definitely sucked when I was actually rolling around with guys that were actually like jiu-jitsu guys, because they took no mercy, and like I got put in so many chokeholds because as a wrestler I was taught to stay off my back, but then in jiu-jitsu it's like stay on really good. Yeah. I'm like, I can't do it. I can't stay on my back. It's going against my instincts. And then they just put me in this chokehold, and I'm like, oh God, I'm done.
When you think back to like a grappling match, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, when you think back to like those just intense 2 minutes where it's just you against another human, like, I don't know, like as far as like exertion goes, like wouldn't you say that that's like some of the hardest 2 minutes you can even put yourself through? Because it's like you're physically competing against another person.
The last 2 minutes of a very intense wrestling match was always insane.
Yeah.
Probably, oh man, I had so many good ones in high school and a few in college that I could look back on. But yeah, no, it was really, really intense.
Yeah, I think back to like any jujitsu moment where like whoever my coach was is rolling with me and we're like doing like 5-minute rounds or whatever. It's literally like being on like an Airdyne assault bike going like as hard as you possibly can for 5 minutes or whatever. Or it might even be harder than that in my mind.
Yeah, well, I mean, so like for me it was like, and especially once I got to the college, once I got to the college ranks, it wasn't just it was the combination of physical brutality,
right,
along with the strategy of trying to score points and avoid being scored on and all of that. So yeah, I had some pretty intense matchups, and there were a lot of times in wrestling matches where no points would be scored in that final 2-minute period. But like just the constant back and forth and the shifting of weight and the adjusting to your opponent and then trying to attack and your opponent adjusting to you and all that. Like it didn't look like you were working really hard, but it was so mentally and physically draining that yeah, when you're battling, when you're battling in a combat sport, there's nothing like it.
No, when your gas tank is out and somebody else's gas tank, I mean, it's hilarious.
Oh yeah. No, I don't know how many times my gas tank really truly got emptied when I was wrestling. I'm sure it did at some point. But like, man, the best example I can give of just gas tank being completely emptied was last year at the at the Continental Championships, which was basically our race that was going to determine who was going to the Paralympics for Team USA.
Okay,
and
tell me that.
Yeah, so no major stakes at all on the line. There was basically three. There were basically USA Triathlon had to decide between they could pick two guys to go to the Paralympics, and
really?
They had three to choose from in the blind visually impaired class.
Okay.
And
did you know these other guys, or you were?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've been competing against each other for years, and knew each other's strengths and weaknesses and all that, and all that. But so that particular day,
take me back there.
It was oh man, it was hot. It was very windy. We had like probably 20 plus mile per hour like winds and gusts and stuff. And so what that did was that caused the lake that we swam in to get really wavy and really rough. And so like I'm pretty sure I brought the water level down by at least a few inches with how much water I sucked in.
Oh wow.
But yeah, so I came
Glad
out.
we still have you with us.
Yeah, trust me, man. That's not even the good stuff. So I came out of the water almost 2 minutes behind the guy that was leading.
Okay.
And my guide and I just busted our asses, and we closed the gap. We managed over the course of the 20K bike, we managed to close the gap down, and caught our opponent and caught his name's Brad Snyder. So we caught Brad and his guide Greg. And we came out of the second transition together, and my guide Andy, he and I, we just go for it. Like
Really?
we're running like 5-minute 40-second miles or something
Wait, so you're now
ridiculous.
off the bike. You're now running?
Yeah, so
Okay.
we're off the bike and we're now running, and
Uh-huh.
we catch and pass Brad and Greg, and then they tuck in behind us, and then they pass us, and then we pass them, and we go this back and forth tit for tat for like a mile and a half, almost 2 miles, and then finally Brad is able to pull around. Brad and Greg pull around us, and just they're able to run away, and at that point. I actually have this gap in my memory. I don't
Whoa.
remember what
Whoa.
happened from that point in the race
Uh-huh.
until after we crossed the finish line.
Did you beat him?
No, he won by 51 seconds. So I totally cracked. Like I totally blew up, cracked. Andy apparently was like, he was like begging me not to like keel over and die, basically, because like I was just like I was basically like a hopeless drunk. Like,
were you upset? Like super upset?
Leaving. No.
Oh, okay.
It was one of those things where
okay.
we were just like, it was such a battle, and like I went so deep into the Hurt Locker.
Yeah.
That like my body and mind literally shut down, and the only thing that kept me going forward was like training and the will to keep on going. So like basically from, I would say, 1,500 meters to go in the race, so like just under a mile to go. Like I remember a little bit at that point of like really starting to hurt, but then like I would say, it was probably not long after that there's just this blank gap in my memory, and the first thing I remember is just hurling into a garbage can at the finish line, and that was apparently a few minutes after we had crossed the finish line. But yeah, man, talk about going just to a whole nother level. That was, and like I was able to finish. I finished in second, and so they took Brad and me obviously to the Paralympics. Brad actually won gold at the games, and I got fifth. So like it was a but yeah, no, that was it was probably it was a really highly anticipated race, at least here in the US for triathlon. And it was just, apparently it was worth the showdown to see, just to at least see my epic implosion.
I have a few questions based off of this epic story.
Okay.
So when you're at that moment when you're saying he beat you by 51 seconds, so your guide is obviously, 51 seconds, that's not that far ahead of you. So your guide is obviously watching this happen in front of you.
Yeah.
What's he saying? Like, what's your guide saying to let you know, hey man, like, we could actually do this if there was, if there's one more gear in you. Like, what's your guide saying to you to let you know, like, hey, this is not out of the realm of possibility right now?
A lot of it just comes down to like, at that point in that particular race, Andy was a little bit more concerned about just keeping me upright and getting me across the finish line. Like, at that point, Andy was just like, if we just finish second, we're going to the games.
Okay, cool.
So it really became like but a lot of what my guides will communicate in those kind of instances is, they'll try to give me some time splits or some time gaps and try to encourage me. Hey man, just trust it. You're looking good. He's looking terrible. You look way better than he does. Punch through this headwind, punch up this hill. Just being trying to coach me through some of that stuff. And then, but then we also, my guide also has to keep an eye on the people person that is coming up behind me. And so in that particular race, Andy was keeping an eye on the guy that was sitting in third.
How far behind was he?
He finished 17 seconds behind me.
Oh man.
So yeah, it was
Kyle,
super.
That is intense.
Yeah, it was super close. It wasn't the closest race I've ever been part of.
What's that?
In Yokohama, Japan last year, when I got my first major international win, the guy that he and I went 1-2 in the race. We were literally no more than 2 seconds apart for the entire race until about 800 meters to go. And that's when I made my move, and I was able to open up just enough of a gap, and I think I beat him by 7 seconds.
2 seconds? How are you not like tripping over each other? That makes it sound like you guys are like on each other's ankles.
We pretty much were. He was literally just like a few steps, but like he was literally a few steps off of my shoulder. I swam on his feet pretty much the whole. Like I was literally slapping his feet for the entire swim. And then he was able to get through transition about 2 seconds faster than I was. So he came out of transition about 2 seconds ahead of me. My guide and I just stuck to his, we just kind of stuck to his wheel until about halfway through the bike. Then we surged ahead, and then he sucked our wheel for the second half of the bike.
Oh wow!
And then we literally came out of transition together, shoulder to shoulder. And I literally, my only goal was to stay 1 to 2 steps ahead of him for the entire run.
Are you listening to like his steps?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
I mean, they were so like, and his guide was constantly communicating with him just as my guide was. And so like, they're constantly, I mean, they were chattering in Spanish.
Is there shit talk? Is there like shit talking ever going on when you're doing like this close to somebody?
Not when we were racing like that.
Weeks before on Twitter.
Unfortunately, not really, man. I've thought about maybe. Well, but here's the thing: like Hoda and I, and so Jose, we all call him Jota. He's just such a class act and just such an awesome dude. Like I can't shit talk the guy.
Dude, you need me as like your fight promoter. I'm gonna be your promo guy. I'm gonna be.
but the same thing happened with when I'm going up against a guy like Brad Snyder. Like I mean, like I love Brad is just such an awesome human being.
Yeah.
That like I can't shit talk him, man.
Dude, that's why I need me. Good cop, bad cop. The Snyder's got nothing on you, Kyle.
So, but no, man, it was so, but yeah, but like, so Hoda and I, the two of us were just so wiped, and like we're running at the edge of our ability for that entire race in Yokohama. And then, we cross the finish line. Like, there's all these COVID protocols. Like, you're not allowed to hug competitors. You're not allowed to handshake. Hoda and I were like, "Fuck that!"
Come here, Hoda.
We fell into each other. We were like, "Oh my god, that was such a good race,
dude." I was gonna ask you because there's not a lot of you doing this.
No.
And so it's got to be like, I mean, you know everybody by first and last name, and I'm sure there's like times even before and after the race where you guys are like sitting down hanging out, or what's
there can be. Yeah, there can be. It's more after the race than anything. Sometimes before the race, like we'll be hanging out at the athlete briefing or something like that, and like I've gotten to know there's a guy from South Africa that I've gotten pretty friendly with. There's a dude from Italy. There's a guy from Ireland. Hoda from Spain. He's class act, awesome dude that I've gotten to be pretty friendly with. But yeah, like we're just all like, there's just this. I think there's just this mutual respect across.
There's gotta be, yeah.
Because I mean, look, man, triathlon's fucking hard.
Yeah.
And
it's hard for me. It's hard for me to even imagine. So I can only imagine how hard it is.
Yeah, it's really hard, and it's really like anyone who completes a triathlon is it's really, really impressive. No matter if I mean, anytime you swim, bike, and run.
Okay, well, tell us idiots though, what is a triathlon specifically? We all know that it's biking, swimming, and running, but how much of each specifically?
It can be any. The thing is, like for a triathlon, it can be any distance. So I've done triathlons that are 300-meter swim, 6.1 kilometer bike, and 1,500-meter run.
Okay, so that's a sprint.
Yeah, that's what's called it's known as a super sprint. I've done, so at the Paralympic level, we compete at sprint triathlon. Okay. So that's a 750-meter swim, a 20K bike, and a 5K run. And then you have what's called the international, some people call it the Olympic distance, which is 1,500-meter swim, 40-kilometer bike, and 10-kilometer run. And then you have what most people are more familiar with are the half Ironman and Ironman distance triathlons. And so a half Ironman is a 1.2 mile swim, 56 mile bike, 13.1 mile run. And then a full Ironman is obviously
double
that. So 2.4 mile swim, 112 mile bike, 26.2 mile marathon.
You've done an Ironman, right?
I've done 3 Ironmans.
The Iron Man.
Yeah, so I've done 3 Ironmans. I've done.
How long does that take you? How long does an Ironman take you?
It depends on the course. Depends on how fit I am. My first Ironman took me 15 hours and 47 minutes. My second Ironman took me 11 hours and 46 minutes. And then the last Ironman that I did took me 10 hours and 59 minutes. So
wow.
My goal for that race was to be my goal was to be the first totally blind athlete to go under 11 hours for an Ironman. So I did that. I still hold that. I think there are 4 other visually impaired athletes that have gone faster than me. So at the time when I did that, there were only 2 other VI athletes that had gone under 11 hours. But they had a fair amount of usable sight.
Yeah.
And then there have been 2 other guys since then to go under 11 hours. So one guy went like 10:30, but again, he has quite a bit of usable sight. And then one guy, again, with some usable sight, he went like 9 hours and 29 minutes or something like that. It was insane. But
what do you consider to be usable sight? I just want to know that. Like, let's just get that out of the way. What's usable sight on a race?
Well, I mean, anything that you could see, which is more than me, but I'm just kidding. I got nothing here, broski. No, you can recognize shapes. You can like get around on your own without really needing a cane. You can run on your own without like needing a guide. You can I would say like best corrected vision of like 2,600 to 2,200 is kind of my rule of thumb.
Nice, man. You make me feel good about the way that I view myself, which is I don't have that. I would not be okay out on the open road.
Yeah. So I mean, look. So the International Blind Sports Federation actually has this.
What's our guideline?
There's actually this classification system that separates people into basically 3 categories of visual acuity. Yeah. And so it's separated into B1, B2, and B3. And like B1 are people that have no light perception, to light perception, but they can't recognize a shape. like the shape of a hand at any distance. So like if you held your hand in front of your face, like
what is this called?
That's being known as a B1, or that's considered total blindness.
I'm B1, dude.
Yeah, no, exactly. Exactly. And then then B2 has like they have this certain range of visual acuity, and then B3 would be the least impaired. So like that.
Can a B1 still see colors though?
I think it depends. So I think it largely depends. Like again, I'm not super familiar with the classification.
You seem pretty familiar to me
and all that. So I mean, I gotta be at least a little bit aware of it, because I compete in international sport.
Yeah, but, we gotta know who's the real one and who isn't. I get it.
So, but
well,
yeah.
Dude, no,
Back to your original question. A triathlon is it's any event that combines swimming, cycling, and running in that order, into one race or one event.
And you don't get a rest time after you finish the water. You got to hop right on that bike, right?
Correct. So like you go straight from swimming into what's called your transition. So transition 1, and that's where you switch over to your cycling, the cycling leg of the race, and then you go into transition 2, which is you go straight from cycling into running.
Wait. So this is interesting. I've actually never thought about this. What is the transition? Because you're obviously in like some form of a swimsuit or something. So what? And then you've got to put shoes on but I've never thought of this. Walk me through your transition time.
Yeah. So it's actually transition time. So transition times can really vary depending on what kind of race you're doing or what's your goal. So like in sprint triathlon at this international level, like we do, like my transition 1 time can range from 1 minute all the way up to like a minute 20 seconds or so.
And does that minute get removed from your actual time? Like, do you get
that's included in your time.
And do you get like do you have like a locker room where you change, or you just like strip down?
So what we do is we actually wear a triathlon kit. So we wear one thing that we can swim, bike, and run in. You're like
Lady Gaga, like performing. You're just like getting ready for your next song.
Yeah, pretty much. So like in the swim, if the water is cold enough, we're allowed to wear a wetsuit.
Okay.
So like when we come out of the water, we run in our wetsuit, and we strip our wetsuits off while we're running. You like strip it down to like around your waist, and then once you get
so
to where
dangerous.
Oh, it's insanely dangerous. There've been some epic failures.
Do they know that you can't see?
Oh yeah, no, yeah, dude. But we got to do what we got to do.
It's true.
But yeah, and then when you get to where your bike is racked, you finish stripping your wetsuit off of your body, and in the on the international racing circuit, we have to throw anything that comes off of our body. We have to throw into this little like laundry basket that they give us.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's considered abandonment of equipment, and you get like a 10-second penalty. And 10 seconds, people are
is
like
everything.
It's no, when you're in a race that is 7, at the end of the race, it's 7, separated by 7 seconds from second place. Yeah, it's 10 seconds everything. Is a lot.
Yeah.
So we throw like our cap, our goggles, our wetsuit into these baskets, and then so what we do is we actually clip our bike shoes into the pedals on the bike, so that our shoes are already on the bike. And
nice.
so we grab our helmets, we buckle our helmets on, and then we unrack our bike, and we run to the mount line, and we're in bare feet, and we don't like most people at this level of triathlon don't wear socks when we race. So like when we get to the mount line, we literally jump onto the bike, and we have our feet just resting on top of our cycling shoes, and we ride our bike until we get to a point where we can coast and actually put our feet into our shoes and strap them down. And then we actually can ride like all out and go really, really fast on the bike. And like, you know, the speeds that we're hitting on the bike are, you know, we average probably 28 miles an hour.
That's fast. That's a fast average.
Yeah, 27, 28 miles an hour. And that's on a fairly technical bike course. On some bike courses, like we raced on this circuit in Abu Dhabi last year, and we're actually going to race there again this year at the World Championships, where we were actually raced. The bike course was all on an F1 track.
That's really cool.
So like that one, we were holding like 31, 32 miles an hour. It was fucking awesome.
Kyle, you're talking about insane speeds, and all I can think about is your bare feet getting blisters.
Oh, dude! At the end of every race, I mean, if you don't have it's a rare occasion that you don't have a blister. But you're coming off the bike, then what we do is like we literally unstrap our feet from our shoes and slide our feet out of our shoes.
Yeah. And
we slow the bike down just enough to where we can jump off the bike and we hit the ground running.
What?
Right next to our bike. So we slow the bike down to probably like 8, 9, maybe 10 miles an hour. And then like you jump off the bike and like you just got to get your feet, you got to get your legs moving and you run.
But you take your biking shoes off, right?
Yeah, like you take you slide your feet out of your shoes and your shoes.
So you run barefoot?
Run barefoot at least in through transition. And then when we re-rack our bike and we throw our helmet into our little laundry basket, then we yank on our running shoes.
Socks or no socks?
No socks, bro.
It's only blistering speeds for blisters.
Yeah, man. No, it's only 5K. So like, you know, you run for like 17, 18 minutes with no socks on. It's like it's real. Like once you get used to it and you've done it a few times, it's really not that bad.
No, I actually love being barefoot, but no, I mean if you're not used to it, you're a blister.
Yeah, no, it sucks like the first few times you do it. But yeah, so that's how we do it. But like in an Ironman, it's a whole different ball game. Because you know, like a fast Ironman transition for me is like 4 minutes. Okay. Because you know, like there's a lot more going on in an Ironman, and there's a lot bigger distances, and like, you know, sometimes in transition I'll stop to pee for an Ironman, or like for an Ironman I do take the time and I put on socks for the run. Okay. Or like, you know, there's a lot of people in an Ironman, like a lot of people, like their goal of an Ironman is just to finish, because like just going that distance is such an incredible feat in and of itself. That would be
me. It would be just get through this.
No, dude, dude, that was me for my first one. And then I got the bug. I was like, I want to go faster.
Right.
So then I started, you know, chipping away and trying to figure out, okay, how do I go faster? So like my first Ironman, I did a full change. Like they have these changing tents in Ironman where you can go in and you basically like strip down, and like you can put, you know, you get out of your swim clothes and then like put on a fresh dry cycling kit. And then you can, and then when you come in from the bike, you can strip off that, and you could put on like, you know, fresh, dry, clean running shorts and running socks and, you know, running tank top and all that. So like in an Ironman, they do have that kind of stuff. But yeah, for like what I'm racing right now for sprint triathlon, the goal is to go as fast as you possibly can. And yeah, we wear one, like it basically looks like a freaking leotard that we run in. So I you know, it's really funny. Like if I go into like a massage clinic or a doctor's office, or like my dietitian or nutritionist is like doing some like skin fold testing on me to, you know, check my body fat or whatever. They're like, you mind taking your shirt off? I'm like, I freaking race in my underwear. I got no problem.
No shame here.
Yeah.
what do you find what do you like to eat if you're doing a Ironman? Because I know that like for like a 15 or 10 hour race, like people do like those like keto packs or like some kind of glucose intake, or like what do you use for those?
It depends. It's evolved over the years. So for my my first Ironman, I ate a payday candy bar every like hour.
How'd you feel?
I had to take I had to drop a transition too, man, but it was fine after that.
I was constipated for days.
But no, dude, that was freaking awesome. And then like I drank a lot of like Gatorade and stuff. And then for my second Ironman, I did like a Cliff Bar every hour, and then every 30 minutes, I would alternate every 30 minutes doing either a gel. So basically like pure sugar and glucose.
Yeah.
I would alternate doing a gel and a Cliff Bar so I actually had to eat and chew something and had slower digesting carbohydrates and all that. And then now for like when I race a sprint, but now if I was to race an Ironman, I actually, what I do is I use a nutrition formula that basically I could get all of my calories just from drinking.
Really?
Yeah. So so it's not quite it's not a Gatorade. It's a lot more. It's custom blended to me. And so I'm actually currently working out the details of partnering with this company. It's called Infinite Nutrition. And so like, and they like they're a very well known custom nutrition company in the endurance sport world. So we're just finalizing our agreement to make me one of their athlete ambassadors for the 2022 season. Nice. But yeah, so I basically what they did last year for me was I did a sweat analysis.
Go figure.
And they took the data from my sweat test, and like they saw how much magnesium, sodium, like all these different elements that I sweat. Yeah. They took that and then based on my body weight, based on my caloric needs over the course of a 1 hour of exercise, or 1 hour of racing or 1 hour of training, they created this custom blend formula for me. And then what I can do is I can go online and I can adjust that formula whenever I need to change something up. So say I start doing a lot more bike rides that are of the 4 hour 4+ hour variety. I would go and I would go and add in protein to my blend, or say I need a race day nutrition blend where I don't want protein and I just want straight up carbohydrates, but I also want caffeine. And so then I go and I add in caffeine to that blend, and they send me a bag and all that. Like it gets pretty sciencey and pretty nerdy.
That's okay.
But yeah, so like if I was to race an Ironman now, what I would do is I would estimate how many bottles of Infinite I would need on the bike, and I would pack those bottles full of Infinite, and I would say it would probably take me, an Ironman bike ride would probably be like 4.5 hours for me, depending on the course, of 4.5 to 5 hours. So probably 4 to 5 bottles, and I would put enough bottle cages on my bike to hold those bottles, and I would just drink one. I would make sure to drink 1 bottle of Infinite per hour, and then I would have a bottle. I would have like a bottle of Infinite in my transition 2 supply stash, and then I would have a bottle of Infinite stashed in my drop bag that I can pick up halfway through the marathon.
That's awesome.
To replenish it. So so that's what I would do, just for pure speed and simplicity, because simplicity is the key ingredient when it comes to triathlon. If you keep it super simple, then you're going to be successful. So,
well, I'm glad these guys and gals at Infinite think you're as amazing as I do, and they're studying your sweat the way that I always knew that we belong to be studied here at Blind Sweaters.
Exactly, man. Exactly. Now I just need to convince them to give us some like advertising dollars or something for be Blind Sweaters.
Or just some more baby bottle formula, so we can.
That too. I'm down with that.
We're just big babies, and we need bottles.
yeah, man, 100%. So, but yeah, no, that's man. That's, do you take like Saturday off, or do you do something physical as well, or do you stretch, or what do you do on the weekends? Oh, I still train on the weekends. So like today I have a 5-mile run that I got to get done, and a 2-hour bike, with some efforts on the bike. So like when you and I are done chatting here, I'll go throw on my run gear and go down and hit the treadmill for an easy 5 miles just to loosen the legs up. And then I'll wait, and then I'll go eat some lunch, and then probably about, I don't know, 3, 4, probably about 2, 3 o'clock this afternoon, I'll go down and knock out my bike ride. I think today I've got like 2 hours. I got like a 20-minute warm up, and then I have 6 by 10 minutes at just below race power. So on like, I think I've told you before, on the bike, we measure our output on the bike in terms of power. So in terms of watts. So like during a race, we have a certain amount of watts that we want to produce and average. So today, I think I'm doing 6 by 10 minutes at just below that average, that I would want to hold for a certain amount of time. So I'll do 6 by 10 minutes, and then I'll do 2 minutes of easy spinning in between each of those efforts. So
we had a deload week last week at my gym, and that is not for me. As I was explaining to my trainer, I was like, dude, there's certain reasons why some people work out, and there's other reasons why other people work out. And me coming in here for 5 days last week and like just doing some like light work to recover for like getting into like a hypertrophy phase, I'm like, that's not for me.
Well, but here's the thing. Like I always kind of said the same thing. Yeah. But like as you grow as a weightlifter, as you like, everyone wants to improve, and the way you improve is by going in cycles. So like like a 3 weeks of building up, getting, going heavier, longer, stronger. And then like you decrease, because your body and your muscles and your mind need that to repair. And then you come back the next week and start that next build phase. And it actually does make you stronger.
Yeah, dude, that's beautiful, not scientific and all, but I work out every day to beat the demons out of myself every single day. And if I'm not getting that, if we're deloading, I'm like, hey man, the rest of my day is suffering. That's what's going on.
I get you. I get you, man. So it sounds like to me what you really need is triathlon.
Dude, you're probably Kyle. Hearing you talk about it is very exciting for me.
Yeah,
like
dude,
that.
It's literally I loved wrestling.
Yeah.
But like triathlon is, I mean, dude, you want to talk about
what you're talking.
It can be so. Mm-hmm. It can be so brutal. It can be so scientific. It can be so exhilarating and soul crushing and incredible and amazing. I love it. It's I mean, dude, like I've actually done a couple of videos on my YouTube channel where I compare triathlon to music, like,
Really?
explaining like, look, like here's some of the things, like, why do we, like, I mean, sure, there's a handful of people that, like, they don't warm up, warm up before they go on stage. They just go and start shredding. But if you think back on it, like, some of your best performances probably came on stage when your fingers were nice and limber, and you were just in the flow and in the groove, and from a nice warm up, and you had this routine and all this kind of stuff. So there's all kinds of different things, and then putting together a great triathlon race is very much like putting together a great musical composition or a great show. Like, you have your build up. You don't want your crescendo to be in the swim. You want you want the fireworks to be right there at the end.
You're like writing a solo, and you're like, because you're setting a pace.
Yeah, exactly. So it's very, it's actually really, it's really cool. And I love it. And then so one of the things I also do is I occasionally, do some talks and stuff to companies and organizations, and triathlon is very applicable to those groups. And so, like, I'm kind of dipping my toe into the financial sector of the world, where I'm gonna hopefully start going, doing some Zoom talks and doing some corporate visits to like financial firms and stuff, and talking to like financial advisors and business owners and business leaders about how triathlon is applicable to the business world. And so it's there's so many applications to it, just like there are so many I mean, if you think on it, like, if you broke it down, there are so many applications to, like, there's no difference between what you do as a musician and what I do as a triathlete. It's just the medium in which we choose to ply our craft.
How would someone who's blind, who is excited about everything that you just said, take that leap into doing a triathlon, or to doing like an Ironman or a half Ironman? Or, like, how would they go find a guide? How would they find a race? How would they, without having the training center behind them? Like, how would one enter this world?
Oh man, we could do a whole episode on that.
Yeah, I thought so. Like, while you were just like having that like rant, I was like, man, how would I reach out to somebody in Orlando and have like the trust in them that they've done this before, like all of that, and be like, all right, let's go try it.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, and look, dude, I got my start in triathlon right there in Orlando.
So you're saying there's a chance?
Oh, I know there's a chance. I could probably put you in touch with some people that are still there.
Kyle, I want you to be my guide.
If you want to go the wrong direction,
hey man, I'm no stranger to going the wrong direction.
I can lead you the right direction in terms of the philosophical way.
That's all I need, man. That's what I'm all about.
But in terms of if we go the actual right direction on the course, you're on your own there, buddy.
All roads lead to Rome.
Something like that. No, basically what I did. So there is a website out there now that some of my friends and colleagues have built over the years. It's called unitedinstride.com, and you go in and you plug in your zip code, and you can search your area. You can search up to like 50 miles, like a 50-mile radius, and see who has signed up in your area to be a guide. And so you can do that to find people to run with, people to bike with. You can, a lot of, there are sometimes triathletes sign up on there. I that's basically what I did. And I he happened to, there were two people in the Orlando area at the time that I did it. This was back in like 2014, and one of them responded. And so I was kind of that, I was like, well, beggars can't be choosers. So, so I met up with him, and he and I became really fast friends, and he was a triathlete, and he was the one that actually convinced me, to give triathlon a go. And he was part of a triathlon club in Orlando, the Central Florida Triathlon Club. And so I started training with them, and we had like group workouts and stuff. So yeah, you can contact your local, like you can do a Google, like the internet's an amazing thing, man. You could just do a Google.
I haven't heard of it.
Yeah, me neither. You can just do this. You can do a search for like running group on in your area, or triathlon club, or anything like that, and then you just reach out and just be like, hey, this is me, this is who I am, and this is kind of what I'd like to give this running thing a try, or give this triathlon thing a go. Would you guys be willing to help me out, or like, would you be open to it? So yeah, I actually that's one of the things I teach in my talks and stuff. So like if I'm presenting to a group of salespeople, prospecting for a triathlon guide or a running guide is no different than prospecting for someone that you are trying to sell something to. So right. Like, say you're going out and you're like, man, I need to market, I need to sell this music, or I need to sell myself as a guitarist to this producer or that producer or whatever. The sales techniques and stuff that you use are no different than to find those prospects than it is to find triathlon guides and running guides and all that. So, but really, it's all about just making as many connections as you possibly can. So making as many friends as you can, and not being a dick to people. Yeah,
I'm screwed.
Yeah, pretty much it. I thought I was too. So I had to learn the hard way. Like, oh man, I can't.
This guy's an asshole.
I can't be a dick. Like, what the hell? So,
yeah, it's when you can't see, it's hard to be a dick, man.
I mean,
nobody wants to help you.
There are people out there that that still manage to be a dick, even though they can't. And look, definitely occasionally, on occasion, like if I'm having an off day, I am 100% a dick, man. Like I fully admit to it, but my goal in life is always just to try and be better than I was the previous day.
I try to not be hard to be around for my loved ones. That's tough, man. We can definitely be a challenge. That's for sure. And I say that sure. I say the we about myself.
100%. Yeah. So it's actually funny. So one of our we've got this like list of team values at the training center with my paratriathlon teammates, and rule number 3 is don't be a dick. So it plays right into that. So yeah, our main rules are, they actually, funnily enough, they spell out the letters. I can't talk anymore. The letters TLD.
I'll let you go, buddy.
TLDR. So yeah, it's we believe in tough love. We believe every day you got to live, laugh, and love. Don't be a dick, and then the R is really try hard not to suck.
Dude, I actually respect all of those a lot.
Yeah, no. So those are our triathlon resident team values.
Well, dude, yeah. I really would love to talk a lot more about this, and just because I don't want to say like, hey, I'm gonna go for one, because until you actually commit to something, it's you don't want to look like the town idiot.
It's a challenge, man, and we got it here.
I don't think I can do like 10 of these with you without at least like dipping my toe into the water with it.
I mean, dude, like there's a reason it's called triathlon.
Trying.
The TRI does not stand for the number 3 of swim, bike, and run. It stands for just give it a try, man. Just give it a try.
I'm going to, because I just know that I'm going to make for a really entertaining episode when I come and tell you how just nuts you are.
Oh, dude, I'm so stoked for this. I'm so stoked for this.
That's really my sole reason.
I can't wait. I can't. Like, David has got to get some video footage of you just like in the
quitting.
pool.
I want footage of me quitting. I want footage of me face down on pavement, just going, Kyle's fucking crazy. Kyle's fucking crazy. I'll be like, I want David Goggins' number right now and tell him he's an asshole.
Goggins is a triathlete, man.
Dude, I know you guys are all nuts.
Could you imagine? Oh, dude, I've actually thought about like shooting him a message and like
you should,
like,
man.
Yo, dude, we should do a triathlon together. Just like that would be insane.
Dude, you really should. I mean, he stays hard, you stay hard, so why not?
It could be entertaining. It could be entertaining. So
I'll be the middleman.
There you go. There you go.
Hey, dude, I do want to ask you this final question.
Yeah.
Because I think this is very important. When I imagine myself doing what you're talking about, I get a little held up on this one thing that I suffer with, and I want to know if you go through this. Do you get shin splints?
I have in the past.
Yeah.
A lot of like shin splints is a lot of what that stems from is bad form.
Yeah.
It's
and not using it, not utilizing running, right?
Yeah, not utilizing running. A lot of that has to do with the type of shoes you're wearing, like the footwear, and then just being consistent.
Yeah.
So, and then like knowing when is the right time to run and when is the right time to walk. Yeah. All that kind of stuff. And look, like when I was just getting started out, like, I mean, everything, well, that really hasn't, everything still hurts. But like, you're able to, like, I haven't gotten shin splints in a long time.
We don't run a lot. We just do like a lot of like CrossFit type of like functional training. Sure. And then like every once in a while, like on Friday, it's like you'll be doing these like squat presses. And then in between that, it's like run the turf 6 times back and forth. And I swear to you, just because it's like been 3 months since I've done that, I wake up the next day and I'm like, oh my God, my dad gave me these horrible genetic shins and he suffered from shin splints. And now I'm suffering with shin splints.
Yeah. I mean, some of that could be genetics, but most of it is, I would argue that most of that is like if you don't do something for 3 months, like dude, imagine like if you didn't guitar is your thing, but if you like, and just music, like if you didn't pick up a guitar for 3 months.
Dude, I get better when I don't pick it up. I'm telling you, it's so different than the shin splints.
I don't know, man. I don't know. All right, let's say you don't pick up a pair of drumsticks. Like, let's say you don't pick up a pair of drumsticks for 10 years. Like, I haven't picked up a pair of drumsticks in probably 10 years. Actually,
you would shred harder. Music is in your soul.
My timing and my technique would be a little off. My paradiddles, my 5-stroke roll, my 7-stroke roll, it wouldn't quite be as crisp as it used to be. And so that's kind of similar. Like if you don't do some, like the more you practice, and the more you practice with intention, when you're consistent with something, you will improve. So like if you obviously if you like. If we were to teach someone how to play guitar and like we only taught them how to down pick and then expected them to be a master at alternate picking 6 months down the road, like they're not going to be a master at alternate picking. You have to practice that alternate picking with intention before you before you can alternate pick, at the speeds like that you do.
Dude, you had some fast alternate picking in that last video you sent me. In your solos, you were like you were just doing like this, like really, really, really fast scale run, and I had never heard you shred like that.
Oh, thank you. No, I appreciate it. Yeah, no, it's something that. Well, I mean, dude, like I like, I mean, I've spent so many years like listening to you, just like being able
Dude,
to sweep across the.
no, but it was like,
prep board.
okay, but I'm talking to you about doing like my first triathlon or like attempting anything like this, and there's like, Kyle, there's literally nothing that you can't do really, really well. Because then I'm like, oh, he does guitar, he does this looper, he does this cover, but then you go into a solo and it's like, dude, there's no boundaries on you. There are zero boundaries on Kyle.
Well, I mean, dude, that's the reason why my book is titled "Discovering a Life Without Limits," because that's what we do, man. All we do is we try to find the limits, and then we try to push those limits beyond. And
dude, I'm just trying to take that Bradley Cooper limitless pill. I'm not trying to figure it out the hard way.
Dude, screw that. The only way is the hard way.
I'm not trying to do it the hard way.
So. Yeah,
dude, no, it was really like hearing you do that Junkie Rush cover was actually really, really exciting, and I just was like, oh man, there's nothing this guy can't just get better at. It was really cool.
But dude, again, that's practicing with intention and purpose.
Well, not a lot of people do that. A lot of people play. A lot of people just.
And there's nothing wrong with that, especially when it comes to music. And look, man, the same thing happens in triathlon. Like,
there's people who just clock in.
There's nothing wrong with it. Like I have a friend. She's like the first female to do over 100 Ironman distance triathlons in her life, and she doesn't train. She just goes out and does them. And she's like, I don't care if I finish in 12 hours or 17 hours. Like she'll stop and like people will be like walking their dogs, and like, she's in the middle of a race, and she stops and like plays with the dog for 5 minutes while she's running,
that would be me.
Yeah, it's like there's nothing wrong with that. It's all about finding our fulfillment and our purpose. Like for me, I get a lot of enjoyment in pursuing this idea of perfection, but what I'm really seeking is excellence.
Yeah, I like that.
And proficiency. So
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
And dude, when I was young, man, I was on a travel ice hockey team. Like I loved competitive sports, but running was always my kryptonite. Like as a kid, like even in like PE, like when we do our physical fitness, like presidential fitness test or whatever, like when we would do the mile run, Ali and I, who were like traveling hockey like teammates, we would literally get to the halfway mark and sit behind the soccer goal and then just like walk the rest of the way. And they'd be like, Jared, Ali, 15 minutes. And I'm like, yeah. Like running a mile was not what I was.
But here's the thing. That was me. Like I was like, I was that, like I was supposed to be this incredible athlete. In elementary school and middle school and stuff, because at the time I was competitively rock climbing and all that, and I was like traveling around the world and like doing these hikes and like mountaineering adventures and stuff, and I was supposed to be this incredibly athletic kid, but when it came to the presidential fitness test, it would take me 15 minutes to run the mile. And I don't mean I would run it and then, walk the rest. I actually tried to run, and it was taking me 15 minutes to run the mile. Or I would do the shuttle. Like, you remember that little shuttle run?
Yes, the shuttle run, and then the pull-up challenge, and then the touching your toes thing. It's like I can't do a single pull-up. I can't touch my toes, but I was super athletic, but I just wasn't I wasn't fit. Like you could, like there would be like a swimmer who was on like the swimming team, and he's repping out like 25 pull-ups next to me.
Yeah.
And I was like, huh? Like I literally couldn't pull myself up once.
Yeah, no, I mean, dude, same. Like I could barely get, I don't think I could get a pull-up at all. And then the shuttle run, like kids were doing it in like 6 to 7 seconds. I was taking like 30 seconds to do it, man. Like it was bad. I didn't show off like in all these tests and stuff. I did not show athleticism.
Right.
So when I got into then when I got into high school, I eventually I did find cycling, and I rode my bike. I rode the tandem a lot with my dad. I wound up getting on the stationary bike and rode that a bunch. So I got cardio in that way, but I could not run to save my life. And then wrestling helped with being athletic and all that. But then when I eventually did get into running, I was terrible at it, dude. People laugh. For my first Ironman, I ran the first mile. My first mile took, I think, 13 minutes. I walked the next 25 miles and then ran the last quarter mile.
Really?
Yeah. It was that bad for me, man. And now I run a 5K in under 18 minutes. So, it's intentional. It's intentionality. It's a willingness to do simple things really well. And it's this willingness to strive for improvement if that's what you choose to do.
My first 5K was a turkey trot on Thanksgiving with my mom, dad, and sister when I was like 8 or 9.
Love those.
Yeah, and I was just a great ice hockey player, great on skates, great on the ice, but I think my 5K was like 26 minutes.
Better than my first 5K, bro.
All right. Yeah, but I had like 20/20 vision too at this time.
Exactly.
I was pathetic.
I'm pretty sure my first 5K road race that I did that was open was like 30 minutes or something like that.
I don't know. I do long for improvement of anything that I chip away at. So I'd like to be a better runner. I have a lake right behind my house that I started walking my dog around it like by myself, and I was like, you know what? I could run this by myself. Yeah. And so I started doing that, and I was doing it every morning, like at 4:30 in the morning. And next thing you know, those pay for bike rides with your app things started showing up, and people were leaving their bikes, just random bikes, like in the middle of the road, and that's not nice.
Yeah, that's not cool, man. Like, hey, people. Don't you know a blind guy runs this route?
Yeah. Don't you know a blind guy runs this lake every morning at 4:30?
Come on, like, pay attention, y'all.
The ducks were aware.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, they're perfectly happy to help you out here, man. But no, man, it's like I said, it's one of those things that, look, even though you are like, you're not going to call yourself an expert guitarist, but no, like you're still striving to to improve in guitar. I'm still striving to improve in triathlon. And I think if there's any lesson to be gleaned from this little discussion, it's look, we all have to, we all find a passion. We all pursue it to, the best of our extent and our knowledge. And, and I'm getting way too philosophical here now. So
no, dude, it's good stuff though. You're a very inspiring dude. And honestly, like I find joy in just, like we're talking about, being the best versions of ourselves. And 100%. That's really all we're talking about here. And for me, it's like, is it about guitar? Is it about triathlon? Or is it just about like everything you can bring to the table for, your girlfriend, your mom, your dad, like your friends, like your coaches, like literally everything, like just for them to say, at the end of the day, I'm proud of Kyle. Kyle's doing well today. Kyle's having a good day. Kyle's putting love out into the universe. He's grateful for the good in a day. And I know that's also philosophical, but I'm honestly, what is more important than that? And really, what's more important than relationships?
Exactly. Well, I mean, it's just like going back to what I said. Like, if you want to get into triathlon, it's all about building relationships. That's all triathlon is.
It's just not being a dick.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, man, wouldn't you say that's all music has been for you, is finding those right relationships? When you find those right relationships, man, you make some sweet music.
Yeah, man. Musicians are tougher than athletes to work with.
I don't know, man. It can be some. Once you get to a certain. I think in any profession, whether it be the music profession or the triathlon profession or the athletic profession, once you get to a certain level, there's so much ego involved that it does, like, it's hard, man. It's hard. Yeah, it's a challenge.
We got to diminish the ego, Kyle.
Exactly. Keep the ego in check. That's what I got you for, right? Actually, that's what I got my girl. That's what I really got my girlfriend for. She makes sure to knocks the ego down up like a zillion pegs every once in a while. She's really good at keeping me humble.
She sounds awesome from the little stuff you've told me. So
I'm like, babe, I'm amazing. I'm the best in the world. And then she brings out her silver medal from the Paralympics, and I'm like, okay.
she's like, look at this, Kyle.
No. I kid because I care. She's so incredibly humble. She's 4-time Paralympian and just an incredible athlete. So, and just even better human being. So just like I'm sure, I know I haven't met Emily, but I know Emily is,
dude, she's like a 9-time Paralympic.
I don't know.
Emily's like a 15-time world.
I don't know how she got saddled with your sorry ass. But then again, I don't know how Jess got saddled with my sorry ass either, so.
Dude, Emily went out last night with some friends till 2 a.m. last night, and I was like, who do you think you are?
Having fun, girl.
No, I was like, I literally told her, I was like, you're just trying to like convince me that you have all these friends, so we have to have a wedding where you have like people in your wedding party, and I have like people in mine. I'm like, I get what you're trying to pull here. It's not you're not fooling anyone.
Yeah. Where'd she go? She go down to the smoky Tanquerays? Is Tanqueray still around?
Kyle, that is dude. I have a story. I'm not even allowed in there.
Oh, dude, seriously?
Well, it's not like that official, but it is in my head.
Yeah.
I have a story. Oh, this is a dark story, Kyle.
Oh,
but it is a Tanqueray story. And so no, about 8 years ago. I was this is a long time ago. This could be like 10 years ago. I don't even know. But I was in Orlando visiting from California. Yep. And there was we were just downtown, like a bunch of my friends were downtown, and I hadn't like gone to downtown Orlando like being 21 probably forever, and like definitely from like visiting home from California. Yeah. And we started off at Tanqueray's, and there was like a really good like live band playing. I actually knew some of the people playing, and then we went to some other place, did some tequila shots. I mean, I don't even know everything that happened this night, but there was a really good amount of drinking and a good amount of like just venturing around and seeing a bunch of friends. And next thing you know, we're about to leave, and I'm like, I don't have my debit card.
Uh-oh.
Debit card was back at the first location at Tanqueray's.
Oh no.
And Tanqueray's is like it's a downstairs place. You got
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Been there a handful of times.
So I'm walking back, I think I was with like Ali, Lucy, I was with Dave. I don't even remember who was the crew at this point, but we get to like the doorman or the body the bouncer, the bodyguard, and he's like checking IDs. It may have been my ID that was left there, but I stepped on his foot.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
It was much like kicking my bed. I just didn't know it was there.
Yeah.
All I wanted to do was walk down these stairs and go get my shit.
Yeah.
And he puts his hand on my chest and he's like, whoa, 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 not you.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
That was a mistake on his part.
Oh, no.
I was like, dude, it was really bad. Like, it got so bad because like I mean I went into the whole like I'm blind, I don't know where your foot is, like I mean it went south south to I mean there was some cops like a few like probably 10 feet away that heard what was going on, and they approached the situation, and I literally like I went into full like lawyer mode. I turned onto the cops and I like literally said, "Excuse me, sirs, I would like to explain to you guys what's going on right now. I'm just trying to go downstairs and get my debit card. I stepped on this man's foot. I can't see his foot. and he's now not letting me go get my card." Dude. Oh man. I wanted to this was back in my anger days. I wanted to start a whole line of merch shirts that would be. I wanted to like pass them around to like everybody who parties downtown, and it was like "Step on John's foot" or something. And I just wanted to promote everybody to go to Tanqueray's and just to like walk past this guy and just go boom and just step on and slam on his foot.
Oh my god, dude.
Yeah. And on that note, so I haven't been back. I have not been back since, but it was not one of my most pleasant moments. Like I just couldn't. I don't know. It just it beat me. If I can go back to that moment, it really beat me. And like I know for a fact that like if I was in that situation now, like it would not be that the same as it was then. Like I was just, you know, I was younger. I wasn't as good with my situation.
Oh, for sure.
But dude, stepping on that guy's foot and have him like just single me out as the drunk person, I was like, dude, no.
Yeah, no, there have definitely been times where I have, you know, not consumed a single drop of alcohol yet, and like bouncers are like, "You're drunk." I'm like, "No, I."
Dude, I used to get I used to sit at blackjack tables in Vegas. I love to play a good game of cards, and dude, they would. I've had dealers accuse me of being on acid. Like literally being like, you need to leave this table. You're on like, I'm like, no, literally. I'm like, just let me know what my card is.
Yeah, seriously.
I'm like, you can take my money. I don't care. Just.
I'm just here for a good time, people. Just here for a good time.
Oh man.
Oh man.
And how about brushing your teeth?
Oh man.
Kyle, I love you, man. This was fun again.
Always fun, dude. Man. Let's I say let's do it again sometime. What do you say?
We'll get a good sweat in. You hear?
Exactly. I like it, man. I like it.
All right, man. Have a good rest of your day, dude.
You have a great rest of your day. Great rest of your week. Folks, remember, hit that like and subscribe button.
Yeah.
Follow us both on YouTube. Share blind sweaters to all your friends.
Give a good share.
Share us out. Let us know what you guys think. And you know, if you feel like chiming in, I'm totally down with people shooting in some questions to the show. Whether you shoot it to us over on Instagram, you can hit me up at Iron Kyle, or you can email me Kyle@kylecoon.com, or you know, Jared at the Blind People Watcher.
Probably just email Kyle. He seems to be way more together than I am, so just hit him up.
Could do that too.
That's one thing I've gathered from 3 episodes. This guy's got it all figured out.
So hit us up with some questions, and I could present them to Mr. Jared Hara, and we can have some fun with some fan questions. So yeah,
I would like that. Yeah, and if you want to come on the show, don't be a stranger. We'd also have guests on if you want to be.
We're I think we're thinking about lining up a couple of guests here in some upcoming shows. So we might bring on a third wheel here pretty soon. So.
I feel like I'm going to be the instant third wheel as soon as we have a third wheel.
All right, broski.
All right, later, dude.
Take it easy. Later.